She gets the promotion on a Tuesday. The email arrives at 2:47 p.m. By Friday, she's standing in front of a mirror in a store she's never shopped at before, holding a blazer that costs 3 weeks of grocery money. She doesn't need the blazer. She already owns clothes. She already owns professional clothes. But something happened between Tuesday and Friday, something nobody talks about. The raise wasn't enough, not emotionally. There was a gap, a distance between who she was and who she felt she was supposed to become. The new title, the new salary, they created an expectation, and that expectation created tension. The blazer wasn't a purchase, it was a pressure release valve. This is the identity spending arc. And if you've ever bought something after a win, after a loss, after any moment that made you question who you are, you've lived it. You just didn't have a name for it. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. A huge fraction of spending isn't consumption, it's signaling. People buy things to resolve identity tension, to close the gap between who they are and who they think they should be. Successful, disciplined, lovable, not behind. These aren't shopping lists, they're existential anxieties dressed as transactions. Psychologists call this self-discrepancy theory. You have an actual self, the person you see in the mirror every morning, and you have an ideal self, the version you believe you're supposed to be, the one that exists in your imagination and on your vision board. When those two selves don't match, you feel tension, anxiety, shame, and your brain desperately wants to close that gap. It will do almost anything to make the discomfort stop. Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't actually care how you close the gap. It just wants the tension gone. You could close it through real progress, through actual change, through the slow and painful work of becoming. But that takes time. That takes effort. That takes sitting with discomfort. Or you could close it right now, instantly with a credit card swipe. The purchase creates an illusion of progress. You're not becoming successful, you're buying the costume of success and hoping the feeling follows. Think about what happens after a breakup. The shopping spree isn't random, it's identity repair. When someone leaves, they take a piece of your story with them. You were the couple, you were taken, you were half of something. Now you're just you, singular, suddenly undefined. The apartment looks different, the future looks different, you look different. Buying new clothes, redecorating the apartment, getting the dramatic haircut, these aren't about style. They're about rebuilding a self that suddenly feels incomplete, about proving to yourself and the world that you still exist as a whole person, that you're not diminished, that you're still worthy of being seen. Researchers have documented what they call celebration spending. You'd think people would be most satisfied after a win, most secure in their identity, least likely to need retail validation. The opposite happens. After promotions, raises, graduations, big achievements, people spend more, not less. The win creates a new standard, a new expectation of who you're supposed to be, and you have to spend to fill the role. You got the job, now you need the wardrobe for the job, the car for the job, the apartment for the job. But there's also soothing spending. This one hits after shame. After you feel behind, rejected, exposed, insufficient. Someone posts their vacation photos from Santorini, your ex gets engaged, your colleague buys a house, your high school friend announces their startup just raised $10 million. You feel a gap, a distance between your life and where you think you should be. The purchase doesn't fix anything, it just makes the feeling go away, temporarily. This is what researchers call reward substitution. Your brain has reward circuits that light up when you make progress towards meaningful goals, real progress, actual forward movement. But those same circuits can be hijacked. A purchase triggers the same neurological response as actual achievement. You get the dopamine hit without the accomplishment. The shopping cart becomes a substitute for the finish line. Your brain confuses acquiring with achieving. And here's the mechanism that makes everything worse. Social comparison. You're not just measuring yourself against your ideal self, you're measuring yourself against everyone around you. What they drive, where they live, what they wear, what they post. Every scroll through social media is a comparison opportunity. Every comparison creates potential tension. Every tension creates spending pressure. Researchers call it the belonging tax, the price of not feeling left behind, the fee for appearing normal. Watch someone get a wedding invitation. Within 48 hours, there's often a purchase, a new outfit for the event, obviously, but also random things, home decor, a gym membership, self-improvement books, kitchen appliances. The invitation didn't create a need for stuff, it created identity tension. They're getting married, where am I? What am I doing with my life? Am I behind? The spending is an attempt to answer that question with receipts instead of reflection. This is why budgets fail. Not because people are bad at math, not because they lack willpower, not because they don't understand interest rates, because budgets treat spending as rational consumption when it's actually emotional expression. You can't spreadsheet your way out of identity tension. You can't category optimize shame. The spending isn't about the items, it's about who you're trying to become. It's about the gap you're trying to close. Consider the man who buys the sports car after the divorce. Everyone jokes about it. Midlife crisis, stereotype, predictable. But what's actually happening? His identity was husband. That's gone. His identity was father in the home. Fractured. His identity was provider. Questionable now. The car isn't transportation. It's a new story. It's a signal to himself and others that he's still somebody, still vital, still worth looking at, still capable of desire and being desired. The cruelest part, the relief never lasts, because the purchase didn't actually change anything. You bought the blazer, but you still feel like a fraud in meetings. You still wait for someone to realize you don't belong. You redecorated, but you still feel alone at night. The new couch doesn't text you back. You got the car, but you're still the same person at every red light, still carrying the same doubts, still facing the same mirror. The object is new. The wound is old. The gap reopens. The tension returns. So you buy again and again, each time hoping this purchase will finally be the one that makes you feel whole. This is the arc. Moment of identity tension, purchase as emotional repair, brief relief, tension returns. It's not a shopping problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's an identity problem that shopping temporarily masks. So, what do? First, recognize the moment. Before any significant purchase, ask yourself one question. Am I buying this thing or am I buying a feeling? Am I solving a problem or am I escaping one? Most spending happens in emotional autopilot. We don't decide, we react. Naming the feeling interrupts the loop. It creates a pause where there was only impulse. Second, separate the trigger from the response. Got a promotion? Feel the feeling. Actually sit with the win instead of immediately converting it into purchases. Let the achievement exist without needing to dress it up. Had a setback? Feel that too. Let the shame exist without shopping it away. Emotions process when you feel them. They calcify when you buy around them. Third, build identity through actions, not objects. This is the key insight. Want to feel like a runner? Run. Want to feel creative? Create. Want to feel successful? Do successful things. The gear that dresses you as these identities are shortcuts that lead nowhere. The gear doesn't make you the person. Becoming the person makes you the person. Here's the truth nobody tells you. The blazer doesn't make you belong in the room. The car doesn't make you young again. The new furniture doesn't make you over the breakup. These things promise identity, but deliver only debt. They promise transformation, but provide only distraction. The purchase was never about the item. It was about the gap between who you are and who you're afraid you're not. Every swipe, every checkout, every delivery notification is an attempt to buy your way across that distance. But you can't purchase your way to yourself. You can only become. And becoming doesn't ship in 2 days. If this reframed how you think about your own spending, subscribe. We're going deeper into the psychology of money, the patterns that control us without our permission, and how to finally break free. The first step is seeing the pattern. You just did. Now the real work begins.